I've been involved in bioenergetics, first as a student, and then as a graduate, and then a trainer for about 45 years. I was in a class at USC, University in Southern California, and we were required to review a form of therapy that was not conventional. And I had a friend, and he chose bioenergetics, and he and I presented on bioenergetics. We read books. We had a bioenergetic therapist that was a local person come and demonstrate it, and we did a presentation in that class on bioenergetics, and that was my first contact with it. I wasn't really sure that I understood the actual experience of it until someone from New York came out, and he led a group, and he didn't know me, he never met me, and he never talked to me. And he asked me if it would be okay for him to look at my body as I stood in several positions. And then as that went on, he sat in kind of a somber way and looked at me and said, "I'm really sorry about what happened with your father." And I burst out crying. And I had not cried in about 4 years. So it took me by surprise, to say the least. And he was able to see something in my physical posture and the way that I was moving, because he had me move, that led him to understand some things about me psychologically that even I didn't know. So I was sort of hooked at that point, and scared, and wanted to find out more about it, because I hadn't ever had that kind of experience before. A lot of therapies work to provide in the immediate moment of the therapy experience. They provide you with a formula, but you have to keep repeating the formula. You have to keep thinking about it and keep it in consciousness. This therapy, because it works on a body level, makes changes in your experience that are lasting, and you don't have to be aware of what you're doing, because you just respond differently when your body feels and experiences things differently. The most transformative aspect of my therapy would be that in spite of all the work that I had done both as a student and as a professor in teaching psychology, giving numerous lectures on things like love and connection and compassion, I had not really a deep felt sense of that. So I would say that as a result of the kind of work that bioenergetics does when you're in therapy with a bioenergetic therapist, it's profoundly impactful, and you know it in a felt way that you know of no other therapy. It's one of the reasons why the bioenergetic community is so tight, is because people have gone through that experience, and it's almost like there's a tribe now of people that if somebody says they've been through bioenergetic therapists, I often just hug them, and we laugh, because we know something that you just don't get in other therapies, you know. There's a particular one that is done in therapy where you know those bouncy balls that they have at gyms, where you kind of lay over that and it's underneath kind of the middle of your back. I sometimes use the arm on a couch, and that allows me to expand the front part of my body and my rib cage in a way that allows for a deeper spontaneous breath. And I've just noticed when I have a deeper spontaneous breath, for some reason, and I'm sure I could understand and explain it to you, I feel more alive, I feel more energetic, I feel more positive. It's like an endorphin thing. And I do that pretty regularly. I also do exercises that have to do with my legs to create kind of a good feeling of anchoredness when I'm working. So those are two that I pretty much do. If not every day, I do them every couple of days. Yes, I have noticed a change in the effort that I put into grounding myself. There's a couple of different ways. For a period of time, it was hard for me to get grounded and stay grounded, so I did it more often. And then I learned what worked best for me, because different people need to ground differently. So some people ground with parts of their body that I might not use as much. So I do it with my legs, and I do it with my neck and back. And I have exercises that I specifically do, which I would call grounding for me, and it allows me to be more present. And since I've been doing them regularly, it happens so quickly, I can kind of, it's like a cup of coffee in the morning. I will do them and I'll feel, spunky and aware and alert. Say that if I hadn't had bioenergetics, I would not have had a deep relationship. I wouldn't have known what love was, or being with somebody in a way that is profoundly intimate on many, many different levels. Now, I wrote papers about that before I did bioenergetics, and I lectured about it, but I never had the real lived experience of it. So yes, it's the most profound outcome of bioenergetics. If you go and work in bioenergetics, often what happens is you feel a very significant change in your relationships. And it often comes with a bioenergetic therapist, but it definitely comes. You'll see the effects on the outside. Yes, I do have a grasp of my character structure and all the different intricacies of it. Yes, I do. And one of the great things about bioenergetics is there's a supportive relationship that exists as you face things that maybe you wouldn't be able to face. And there's no way to sort of wiggle out of it in bioenergetics because the body doesn't really lie. You can do a lot of manipulating cognitively, mentally. You can have a lot of ways in which you can shift around, but the buck sort of stops with the body. So if you're with someone who's really there for you and can support you as you open up and face some of the fears and the anxieties and the ways in which you avoid, it can really, really have an impact. And then you can get to know yourself and your character structure in a way that is not shame-inducing, more forgiving. So I'm a little bit narcissistic, I'm a little bit rigid. I've become more oral, that's a word we use. And actually my wife likes that, other people like that about me now. I'm more mushy, how's that, rather than standoffish. Energetics. Absolutely, absolutely. It's just a level of self-consciousness and awareness that you have. So when you go into encounters, you sort of have this way in which you're witnessing yourself while you're being yourself. And I'll be controlling and I'll say, Bob, stop it, stop it, stop it. You don't need to run everything in the universe. Come on, you can just, it's okay. Or with my son or my wife or whatever, I'll notice different things that I do. And then I'll laugh and chuckle to myself. It's something that in bioenergetics, you need to become over time very accustomed and aware of. If you're not aware of your character structure as a therapist, you're just simply offering other people what you did wrong to get to the mess you're in the first place. I'm here at the Southern California Bioenergetic Conference, and I love it, and it's been going on for 26 years, and I've made most of them. And a lot of people come back year in and year out, and it's a great, great organization.